This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock. From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning. A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Wednesday, January 8, 2025. Opposition leader Mark Golding calls the performance of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation under Prime Minister Andrew Holness an abysmal failure. Matthew Samuda says Port Royal pipelines are a promise kept by the Holness administration. Jamaica Employees Federation says the country's progress is being undermined by a crisis in education. Opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson says the general election expected later this year will be one of the most consequential in the nation's history. In regional news, the Bahamas says there are no HMPV cases in the country. In international news, thousands told to evacuate as wildfires rip through Los Angeles suburbs. In sports, Akira Nugent is set to open her 2025 season at the Millrose Games in New York later today. And in business, sister of ChatGPT creator Sam Altman accuses him of sexual abuse. The details after the break.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Catch the first news of the day, a comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. An abysmal failure. That's the assessment from opposition leader Mark Golding regarding the performance of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation under the leadership of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Golding made the remarks at a recent constituency meeting in East Rural St. Andrew. Mahira Stewart reports.
The opposition leader is taking Prime Minister Andrew Holness to task over his handling of the economy. Mark Golding points to the sharp slowdown in economic activity and criticizes the Prime Minister's recent attempt to shift direction. This despite the establishment and management of a so-called Ministry of Economic Growth for nearly a decade.
We have a government that has suddenly decided that it's time to pivot to growth. But this is the same government that established a Ministry of Economic Growth. We've had a ministry called Economic Growth for 9 years. And who is in charge of that ministry? The Prime Minister himself, Andrew Holness. And it's a mental failure. So much so that in 2024, we had negative growth. And we had negative growth not only because of burial, but before burial, for the months leading up to it, the economy has been getting slower and slower.
The Jamaican economy shrank by 3.5% in the July to September quarter of 2024, following flat 0.2% growth in the previous quarter. To address this apparent stagnation, Prime Minister Andrew Holness unveiled a new growth initiative called Aspire Jamaica in November. According to Holness, Aspire Jamaica marks a fresh chapter in the nation's drive for meaningful development, claiming the initiative will break the cycle of weak economic growth. However, Golding, addressing comrades in East Rural St. Andrew, boldly stated that when the PNP assumes office, it will inherit a severely underperforming economy.
The tax revenues of the country are down this year. When we form government, we're not going into a nice buoyant situation. We're going into a situation where the Labour Party has dropped the ball and the economy is weak and is just struggling along. But we understand what it takes to build a strong economy so our people can be wealthy, our people can reach their hopes and dreams.
It's important to note, however, that according to the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, tax revenues for the fiscal year 2024-2025 were revised upward from an original forecast of $899 billion to $905 billion as at October. This upward revision suggests that rather than declining, tax revenues have exceeded expectations so far this year. Golding didn't stop there. He also slammed the government for neglecting the country's road infrastructure until very recently.
Here a Prime Minister said we have an emergency in the country because of road. Why we have a problem with road? We have a problem with road because the government has not been attending to the issue of roads. They have done nothing to maintain the road network. They like the big projects because they can pop and scrape dollars off it for them and their cronies. But the roads where the people of Jamaica have to drive on every day, them men are done with those roads and only suffer because of the lack of attention and care of this uncaring government.
On December 30, the government kickstarted the $45 billion Spark program, marking the beginning of a significant infrastructure push. It's one of the largest investments in Jamaica's roadways in recent history. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Minister with responsibility for water Matthew Samuda says the commissioning of the new pipelines in Port Royal represents a promise kept by the Holness administration. He was speaking at the commissioning ceremony in East Kingston on Tuesday.
In 2023, we were at this location for the groundbreaking ceremony for the Port Royal Pipeline Replacement Project. Today, we gather here with great pride and anticipation to commission the new pipelines officially. This is evidence, as the chairman said, of a waterific day because it is representative of a promise made and a promise kept. This upgrade was not just about changing infrastructure, it was about improving the quality of life.
Matthew Samuda, Minister with responsibility for water. The $533 million Jamaican dollar upgrade will see the replacement of fragile pipelines with modern high-intensity pipes. The upgrade will see over 2,000 residents benefiting from an improved water supply system. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, the guest speaker at the commissioning ceremony, says the upgrade will also improve access to potable water for visitors. Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal Philip Polwell says the upgrade will help improve the quality of life for the residents.
That sunken city that we know if it ever gets on the front page, there will be nothing in the world that could rival it. And I think the time now to develop the sunken city is right. And I really want to urge that that be placed on the agenda. As we acknowledge today the significant function, as we, on behalf of the residents of Port Royal, say thanks for this wonderful project that will ensure that we have high, good quality water and then the sewage to follow.
Philip Polwell, MP for East Kingston and Port Royal. Meanwhile, the Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says the recently launched bill amnesty will help rather than hurt the fiscal position of the National Water Commission, NWC. The 90-day amnesty took effect on Thursday, January 2. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
The National Water Commission will be giving up potential billions in uncollected revenue on delinquent accounts as part of the new amnesty program. However, Matthew Samuda argues that in real terms, this will not be a financial hit to the water company.
So this is an extension of a program that we engaged in the section of Portmore that we've been doing our non-revenue water program, George. And generally what we've found is that this has actually improved the cash position of NWC, because you'll find that you have billions of dollars on the books, but it's for all intents and purposes, it's not collectible. None of these persons are able to pay this. It's most cases based on what were huge household leaks. Many times for pensioners who simply don't have the capacity to pay it over. Now, the other issue, and one that I've been at pains to explain, is that the general cost of collection, and anyone in this type of business will tell you that it is upwards of 40%. So a lot of what you see on the books, in many ways, is not real, because the cost of collecting it would remove upwards of 40% of it.
Under the amnesty, pensioners were assessed as being in need based on the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH, will have their debt written off and reconnection fees waived. This will allow pensioners to reconnect legally and facilitate the transfer of titles where outstanding bills are a challenge. The program will last for 3 months up to March 31, 2025. Minister Samuda says delinquent customers have the potential to worsen the company's non-revenue water concerns. Non-revenue water represents that which has been produced and is lost before it reaches the customer. Losses can be real, through leaks, or through theft or metering inaccuracies. Minister Samuda says it's in the best interest of the NWC to formalize these customers.
So it's not in our interest for it to remain on the books with these persons who have water lines in their areas running past their homes, not being reconnected, not getting back to becoming paying customers at the NWC. In some cases, it's a difficult truth and a difficult matter to discuss, but in some cases, this has contributed heavily to our non-revenue water, because persons have gone ahead after being disconnected to go illegally connect. It is in our interest to have them brought back in the formal system and become paying customers while managing their debt in line with the parameters that we've set.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The country's progress is being undermined by a crisis in education. That's the word from President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, JEF, Wayne Chen. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday.
We have an education crisis, and we're not even acknowledging that. It's difficult to get a revolutionary change in the run-up to a general election. But whatever happens after this election, whichever government forms the government of Jamaica later this year, will have to grab education. We'll have to grab the Patterson Commission report, which in many ways repeated earlier reports, and move to implementation. We have a huge implementation deficit in Jamaica, and we need a national conversation around education and training, because my fear is that Jamaica just falls further behind. And as I say, one of our curses and blessings is being next to an advanced economy that values Jamaican workers. They love our healthcare workers. They love our teachers. You can't find some teachers in the high school system in Jamaica because they are poached away by the Americans.
Chen was responding to the alarm raised by principal of the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies, Professor Denzel Williams, about the equality of the country's workforce. According to Professor Williams, 70% of the country's labor force is within the prime working age of 25 to 54 years old. However, he says only 13% have high-level certification, such as a university degree. Chen says local policymakers are faced with several challenges in improving the quality of the country's workforce.
Jamaica stands alone in terms of not only having a relatively low-skilled workforce, not only having one of the worst rates of productivity improvement in the hemisphere over the last 50 years, but we also don't have the highest rate of brain drain. So there are many dilemmas facing policymakers, and this has been pointed out many times over the years. This is something that's well known, that Jamaica, if we're going to make a quantum leap forward in economic growth and development, we have to rapidly increase the high-value skills in the economy. We have to rapidly ramp up training our people in marketable skills. There are many opportunities as well as the challenges, but we have to change gear in terms of our education and training and our attitude to the certification of skills.
Wayne Chen, President of the Jamaica Employers Federation. Opposition spokesman on finance and MP for South East St. Andrew, Julian Robinson, says the general election expected later this year will be one of the most consequential in the nation's history. Robinson, who was addressing PNP supporters in East Rural St. Andrew on the weekend, says integrity must be a central theme of the upcoming campaign.
Comrades, this election, which is due by September this year, is going to be one of the most consequential general elections in recent history. And I'm going to explain why. It is important for the country to go in a different direction. Jamaica must have a government of integrity from the top, because if you don't have it at the top, you cannot enforce it anywhere else. Jamaica needs a government that will balance the lives of the Jamaican people while ensuring that we balance the books.
The PNP is seeking to overturn the JLP's 35-seat majority. Robinson told comrades that East Rural St. Andrew is among the seats the party must take back from the JLP if they are to form the next government.
Because East Rural has to come in for the People's National Party for us to ensure that Comrade Mark Golding will be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and most importantly, that we can fashion a new Jamaica, a Jamaica based on integrity, a Jamaica based on respect, a Jamaica that will ensure that every Jamaican, regardless of where you come from, has an equal opportunity to do the best for him or herself.
Julian Robinson, opposition spokesman on finance and MP for South East St. Andrew. The police have arrested 2 suspects in connection with a fatal shooting incident in Hayes Clarendon on Sunday, January 5. The suspects were reportedly apprehended in a coordinated operation on Monday, just hours after the incident. Reports are that about 8:30 p.m., a group of people were in a yard in the community when armed men drove up and fired several shots. When the shooting subsided, 4 people were shot, among them 31-year-old Daniel Bowen. He later died from his injuries. Residents are being encouraged to share any information they have on this or any other crime with a Crime Stop at 311 or the JCF tip line at 811. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
Are you ready for it?
Revo. Coming soon.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, the Minister of Health and Wellness in the Bahamas says there are no reported cases of human metapneumovirus HMPV in the island, despite recent outbreaks in eastern countries. HMPV, discovered in 2001, causes flu-like symptoms including cough, fever, and nasal congestion. The virus spreads more readily during winter and spring months. The ministry's National Communicable Disease Surveillance Unit says it continues monitoring for potential health threats. It is advising the following respiratory hygiene practices: regular hand washing and sanitization, physical distancing, wearing face masks during cold or flu season, staying home when sick, and taking seasonal flu vaccines. In international, more than 30,000 people have been ordered to evacuate Los Angeles as wildfires sweep across an area covering almost 3,000 acres. A state of emergency has been declared in the area, with officials saying they expect things to worsen throughout Wednesday. The flames from a fire that broke out Tuesday evening near a nature preserve in the inland foothills northeast of the city spread rapidly in incredibly dry conditions and high winds. Another blaze that started hours earlier ripped through the city's Pacific Palisades neighborhood, a hillside area along the coast dotted with celebrity residences. In the frantic haste to get to safety, roadways became impossible when scores of people abandoned their vehicles and fled on foot, some toting suitcases. The traffic jam on Palisades Drive prevented emergency vehicles from getting through, and a bulldozer was brought in to push the abandoned cars to the side and create a path. Video along the Pacific Coast Highway showed widespread destruction of homes and businesses along the famed roadway. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Come to Marshall's Pharmacy today for your free medication management consultation. Let them guide you in taking care of what matters most, the health of you and your family. Shop now for gifts, personal care, household and stationery items, plus print services by Print Corner. Follow them on Instagram at Marshall's Pharmacy or call or WhatsApp them at 876-491-7841. We are open late every day to serve you.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
In your morning sports report, national 100 meters hurdles champion and record holder Kira Nugent is set to open her season against a strong field at the Millrose Games in New York on February 8. Nugent is coming off a strong 2024 campaign where she became Diamond League champion, contested the Paris Olympic final, and twice broke the national record. She'll be joined in the race by world indoor record holder Devin Charlton of the Bahamas and rising American star Tia Jones. Meanwhile, Olympic medalists Jess Hull and Georgia Bell will also clash at the Millrose Games. They first raced over 3,000 meters at the New Balance Indoor in Boston on February 2, and then the mile at the Millrose Games. Liverpool will battle Tottenham Hotspur in London this afternoon in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final tie starting at 3 p.m. The game marks a historic moment for both clubs. Liverpool is making a 20th appearance in the League Cup semi-finals and Tottenham their 18th, the most last 4 appearances in the competition's history. Of their 19 previous last 4 ties, Liverpool have won the first leg on 10 occasions, drawn 4 and lost 5. Their away record in these fixtures shows a challenge, with 4 wins and 5 losses in 10 matches played on the road. Yet the Reds have successfully progressed from 7 of their last 9 semi-finals. President of the Jamaica Basketball Association, Paulton Gordon, says that teams are eager for the start of the 2025 National Basketball League NBL season. 10 teams will participate in the country's top league, which is set to tip off later this month.
We launched it and did some pre-season activities in December to keep them active. And everybody's on board, everybody's eager to go, raring to go.
Gordon also explained the format.
So our first round will be a round robin of all the teams playing each other. Subsequent to that, based on where you are situated, we'll divide the teams into zones of 5. After that, we have the top 4 teams from each zone that will emerge to the quarterfinals, and it will be best of 3, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals.
Paulton Gordon, president of the Jamaica Basketball Association, wrapping up your morning sports.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Are you ready for it?
Revo. Coming soon.
In business this morning, the BBC is reporting that ChatGPT creator Sam Altman's sister, Ann Altman, has filed a lawsuit alleging that he regularly sexually abused her between 1997 and 2006. The lawsuit, which was filed on January 6 in a U.S. District Court in the Eastern District of Missouri, alleges that the abuse started when she was 3 and Sam Altman was 12. Altman, who is the chief executive of OpenAI, the firm behind artificial intelligence AI software ChatGPT, denied the claims in a joint statement on X with his mother and 2 brothers. The statement added that all the claims were utterly untrue. It says caring for a family member who faces mental health challenges is incredibly difficult. Altman said he gives his sister monthly financial support, pays her bills and rent, and offered to buy her a house, but that Annie continues to demand more money. But according to a court filing seen by the BBC, Miss Altman claims he groomed and manipulated her and performed sex acts on her over several years, including rape, sexual assault, molestation, sodomy, and battery. The Washington Post announced it will lay off nearly 100 workers, or 4% of its staff, in an attempt to stem growing losses. According to the BBC, the cuts reportedly will affect mainly employees on the business side of the storied U.S. newspaper owned by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. The publication is among many news outlets struggling in the digital age as a growing number of online platforms compete for advertising revenues. The layoffs announced on Tuesday come at a time of turmoil at the company after Bezos broke with extradition and blocked an endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris ahead of the U.S. presidential election in November. 250,000 of its readers canceled their subscriptions in protest. In 2023, the Washington Post reported losses of $77 million and falling readership on its website. That same year, the newspaper announced it was offering workers voluntary buyouts in a bid to cut headcount by 10%. Finally now, in foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar has lost 38 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $157.28 against the benchmark US dollar. The Jamaican dollar has lost 63 cents and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $109.80 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican has lost $1.63 and will open trading today, selling for an average $197.26 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:29.
Dear Keisha, look how much time me carry go Krispy Kreme this year. And at this you really give me for Christmas? Sax can yam. It's better you did get me some Krispy Kreme holiday treats. Delicious Christmas donuts like Santa Bailey, Holiday Tree, glazed sorrel filled and gift wrap with a refreshing sorrel chilla to wash it down. Now that is festive. Shame on you, Keisha. Me I watch you, Byron. Visit any location to get the perfect holiday treat and enjoy the holidays with Krispy Kreme.
If them a hide and a bribe, you know we not sleep. Extortion them want, you know that not key. Fight against corruption, turn up the heat. Load up the kickback and fraud when you see it. Anti-corruption, join in the fight. Let's come together and make this right. When you see wrong, you feel open your mouth. Now there's a new avenue for speak out. We need a reduction. Make we fight against corruption.
The Integrity Commission is working towards Jamaica where there's integrity, accountability, and transparency in public service, where acts of corruption by persons in public office will be investigated and dealt with transparency and accountability. Stand with us in the fight against corruption. Call the Integrity Commission Anti-Corruption Hotline 876-926-0001.
Make we fight against corruption.
Are you ready for it?
Revo. Coming soon.
The sun is out and shining, a smile on my face. Good morning, Mr. Obstacles. How you doing today? If I am living, I have to live it up, no matter the feeling. I got to get up. If I am living, I have to live it up, no matter the feeling. I got to get up, and that's a spirit. Yeah. And you can do it. Oh, that's a spirit. That's the spirit. When you fall on the ground, get up, pick up your sin and do it. Brush off your clothes and prepare for something else. That's the spirit. No time for those. Get up, wake up and move. Put on your champion shoes and tell the man in the mirror, you are a winner. Yeah, you can do it. You are a champion. Oh, you can get through it. God, if I am oh. forward with every step back. I propel forward with every setback. One step at a time, no turning back from the starting line. Prepare my mind and tell the man in the mirror, you are a winner.
For the whole long.
You are a champion.
A very good morning to you. Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide this morning, NTM. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us this Wednesday morning. It is Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. Happy hump day to ya. Hope you are up, alive, and well in good spirits. Hello to all of our YouTubers, our peeps out there in Radioland. Good morning to ya. I'm Tona Thomas.
Good morning, Tony. My name is George.
Hey to you, George.
What up?
In your bow tie today?
Yes, man.
I like it.
Is it bow tie or boat tie?
Bow? I don't know.
It can be anything. Can or be anything, man.
Which do you prefer?
I like the traditional necktie. The especially the skinny ones.
I was about to ask if
man.
skinny tie.
See, some man that's on tie. Sometimes you go to, especially when you go to rural communities, the church. And you see them tied, you know. So like my grandfather used to have some tie. It tie big like dribbler. Like, you know, the people baby wear. So you see big and broad. Somebody say, yo, that. Me don't want them tied.
Yeah, you'll see some suits out there when you go to church. Yeah. But I pay attention not only to the ties, but the shoes as well.
Yeah.
The footwear.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they call them? Kick me, kill
Kick
me.
me, kill me. Kick me, kill me.
Yeah. Very pointy at the front.
And I don't like broad shoes. I don't like broad shoes.
Yeah.
I like shoes with a point. But some people have broad feet, so they have to wear those kind of shoes. But I can't wear the broad nose. I look like I'll kick bullfrog.
I like a skinny shoe. But the ones that you know we're talking about, those no man.
No, man.
They leave those in 2024.
No, sir. Hell of a shoes.
Yeah, and they come in different colors. Yeah, you see some in red, some shades of blue and black. Yeah.
And people are people, and it's not that you're discriminating or making fun, but you know, like in some churches you go to, you sit down on the bench, camphor ball kill you, because the clothes they rub up with the camphor ball. Wicked.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, man.
And the suits come in different colors. Certain colors, you know, perhaps you or Jermaine would not wear. Yeah, like a light blue. Perhaps not.
Not a
burgundy.
Me now get lost in the dark, so me now wear clothes so you can't find me. Crimpling suit, corduroy.
Yeah.
Have you ever worn corduroy before?
Corduroy, which one again?
Corduroy, it has a velvety smooth feel, and it has the lines between the fabric is divided into lines, almost like tracks.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Corduroy.
Yeah,
King will answer something like corduroy for your little youth. yeah.
Maybe a jacket or so.
Yeah. Corduroy. Yesterday we had an interesting discussion with the opposition spokesman on national security. And even before that, I was thinking of what people would say about the performance of the national security minister in his chair. And our country has been such that if you want to ruin a career, send it to national security. People will tell you that Dr. Peter Phillips was among our most respected cabinet ministers, and in real terms across the floor, because he spoke to people away from the glare of the headline, glare of the lights and the politics. They'd say, boy, Peter Phillips is a good minister in the areas that he was in, transport, and he was doing these things. And the most significant negative headlines he started receiving was after he took charge of national security. It is tough, and because of our crime situation. So it's not that the minister now do a good job, it's just that we murder so many people
that it's hard to praise a national security minister when homicide numbers are 1,600 and odd, 1,400 and odd, 1,500 and odd, and it's just every day shot and killed, this, that. It's just hard. And so annually, when you do an assessment of the performance of ministers in government, the person in charge of finance, I was always tempted to say the man in charge of finance. There's a woman in charge of finance now. But the person in charge of finance, the person in charge of national security, you could rest assured that they'd be at the bottom of the ranking list, because the economy would be tanking, life would be hard, things expensive, people can't see them away, and then the murders. So the person in charge of finance, person in charge of national security would fall way down in the rankings, probably last and second to last respectively, and then other people would be up, tourism and so forth to be up. And it is difficult in context to hand out plaudits when in a country of 3 million, 1,139 people were intentionally killed, which is what a homicide is, a murder. Very difficult in that situation to hand out plaudits. But it is necessary to appreciate progress in every circumstance. And so, contextually, and from the perspective of raw numbers, even without context, because here's the thing, if you publish the annual homicide numbers on a chart, and you look at what was recorded for 2024, that would still be reason to extend some appreciation to those whose work resulted in the figure that we're talking about for 2024, without the texture of context being applied. Just the numbers themselves. There's a men lie, women lie numbers. Don't just look at the numbers and you say, well, all right, this look like you're moving in the right direction. So that's a long way for me to say. We cannot fall over ourselves patting the JCF on the back, even though we should pat the JCF on the back. And while we make a show of praising the JCF, we say that the National Security Minister and the ministry don't deserve any credit for where we are. Policy is about setting framework to how we practice politics in this country. It suits the politicians, especially those who are out of government, to model the responsibilities of a minister, because when you model the responsibilities of a minister, it is easier for you to criticize the minister and for the criticism to stick. So in every ministry, we make it seem as if a letter comes to the Ministry of Finance. Oh, the minister never said the letter, knowing full well that hundreds of pieces of correspondence come to a ministry every week. Perhaps a ministry like the finance ministry will be thousands. And you have a registry and you have various levels. So it's not like minister go walk through and say random letter, take up letter, read letter. I use the example of Nationwide to say, I think Cliff used to the letter them when them come here. He doesn't. Somebody have to bring them to him personally. And even so, there are many levels in the command that things are dealt with. He may even know. So if you don't expect him in a small operation like Nationwide to see, you wouldn't expect that a person running a big ministry with multiple agencies and departments would see and know everything and have a handle in everything. And so everything that goes wrong is their fault. So I say that to say, for what Chang, in his capacity, has allowed the JCF and the security forces in general to do, whether legislatively or the backing when you go to cabinet to ask for certain things, and the minister is on your side as a police chief or you're the head of the defense force. It can't be an insignificant thing that the modernization of the police force, the professionalization or professionalism that the police have now, the way the police have positioned themselves, have evolved over time, that is impossible to achieve without a supporting minister and a supporting ministry. And those who would say that Chang should get none of the credit, they know better, because they know how the thing works. A police force by itself can't do anything beyond operationalizing their plans. But the operationalization of plans must be supported by policy at the top level, the guiding hand, which is what a minister's role is, not day-to-day interference. Yeah. And when you look at what Anthony Anderson did before Dr. Kevin Blake, and how the force has changed over time, slowly, but the change has been constant. That's a critical thing. Change can be slow and interrupted, and then you lose the benefit of the change. But if change is even slow, once the change is constant, you're going to see the rewards down the road. And the operation and the professionalization, let's call it that, of the JCF started before Anthony Anderson. But I would suggest that Anderson's arrival and impact precipitated the professionalism of the police force. If we're to take precipitation or precipitate by maybe its second or third line definition, which means, well, first line definition, which means to hasten the occurrence of. So Kevin Blake coming through now is not in charge of a ragtag band of men and women. He's not in charge of a force where them a grumble about pay every day. He's not in charge of a force where they'll tell you, and I have a friend, Otis, who's migrated now, who called me the first night he was sent to a station in rural Jamaica in St. James. I said, GD, can you imagine? Nature called me. And when I went to answer Nature's call, latrine run at the back. Me a big policeman left me big old nice toilet at my yard. This was back in the day. Those stories are few. In fact, I don't know if there's a police station with a pit latrine anywhere in Jamaica anymore. There were those not so long ago. Yeah? Mobility. Infrastructure. And the police commissioner put those things in, you know. The police commissioner don't buy motor vehicles. He doesn't negotiate arrangements to get motor vehicles to serve the force. Those are done at the ministerial level. And so, again, I'm saying, politically, we can challenge what a minister does. And there's a lot of room to challenge Chang and to tell an audience like the electorate why it is that you are a better alternative to Chang. Without saying that, boy, listen, for the improvements that we've been seeing, it has nothing to do with Chang. That can't be right. It can't be right. We have a police force now. Tona, not so long ago, people were saying, disband the JCF. They were saying, all right, if you don't disband it, take out the force out of the name. But change something, change it up because it is not fit for purpose. What we have are taxpayer-enabled extortionists with guns who are walking around causing as much problem as the criminals that they pretend to chase from day to day. And they're not chasing the criminal and lock up the criminal because look at the murder numbers, look at the crime situation, look at the feeling of insecurity. We're not saying that anymore. So a police force that is in a critical phase of its evolution, it is trending seriously towards being thoroughly decent from not being fit for purpose not too long ago. It has to be because of the guiding hand ministerially that has supported the plans crafted and executed by the men and women leading the constabulary force. And so, where we are today, and I'm looking beyond the 1,139 people murdered last year and how that is a reduction, 260 odd fewer than 2023. I'm not hanging a hat on that. Because 1,100 people murdered, boy, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm looking at the police force that we have in front of us. I'm looking at the security forces in general. I'm looking at the technology available to them to do their work. I'm looking at what has been allocated to them at budget time, cycle after cycle. And I'm saying that we have an arrangement in place that is beginning to yield some results. And if it can be maintained, not necessarily by the same people, but the approach, if the approach and the coordination and minister and commissioner working in concert continues, whether Chang is the minister, Dr. Blake is the commissioner, just minister and commissioner working in concert, we are in for better times than we are enjoying now. And I'm saying, politically, we don't have to defecate on somebody to convince somebody else that them smell bad. That's all I'm saying.
The Legal Aid Council provides free legal assistance on some criminal matters. To find out if you qualify or for more information on legal aid, call 948-6999. The time by the Justice Ministry is
6:49.
Corian Solid Surface, so versatile and beautiful. It's non-porous, no sealing necessary, renewable and repairable, so easy to clean and maintain, and can be thermoformed into any shape. Choose Corian, the #1 solid surface in the world, when you want beauty and the best for your countertop. Visit Home International Limited, located at 104 Constance Ring Road. Telephone 755-1970 or 924-0437.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Well, LeBron James not looking so hot in his 40th year. Good morning time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean. Ludlow, are you a basketball fan, my friend? Uh-oh. Ludlow?
Yeah, man, I'm here now. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you fell into the pothole on Waterloo Road.
No, I was adjusting my headset here.
All right, my boss.
Good morning, time. Yeah, am I on air? Anyway, good morning.
Yeah, man, you're up on ear, man. You're up on ear.
Good morning to listeners. Just some serious clouds above, but generally speaking, it's blue sky, not yet bright and sunny, but nevertheless, it's happening every morning now. As it gets 5 or a little bit before, the roadways are busy. So you're going to find this on the eastern side, wherever you are coming out of Harborview, that's pretty good going up Mountain View, going all the way up towards Ligony. It's pretty good going via Old Hope Road, I should say. In the vicinity of Trafalgar, New Kingston area, that is okay. Lady Musgrave Road going across to what we call Knutsford Boulevard. Remember, that area in the early days was Knutsford Park. Racetrack for horse racing. But Oxford Road in both directions, steady flow. It's only when you get mainly on the western side there, coming towards the eastbound lanes, you're going to find bumper-to-bumper traffic. And this is all the way out of Spanish Town and onto the Mandela, onto Washington Boulevard, onto 6 miles, going to 3 miles. That's where you're going to find it quite busy. And the Reddies Road going down, also Constance Spring Road, across Barbican Road, not so bad yet, but picking up. And then it's also steady flow in some other areas, like, for example, going across to Stanton Terrace if you're coming from Old Road and Fairway Avenue. All these areas, it's steady, but the bulk of the traffic, west coming east, via Mandela, via Washington Boulevard, and 6 miles to 3 miles. That's our first report for the morning. It's over to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow McLean there with Street Smarts. Well, up next, the word of the day.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Your word of the day, spelled ABSTERGENT, spelled ABSTERGENT.
Abstergent. Abstergent. Abstergent.
Abstergent is your word of the day, a descriptive word, an adjective. Abstergent, simply meaning cleansing. Dictionary.com telling us that abstergent was first recorded between 1605 and 1615. Two sentences for you. Few people would refuse the abstergent delight of a bath, the cleansing delight of a bath after a day of gardening. Another for you. To the trombonist, music had an abstergent power, cleansing power, clearing his mind of intrusive thoughts. Abstergent is your word of the day, simply meaning cleansing.
Detergent.
There you go, a cleaning product, cleansing, yeah. Up next, your features at the top of the hour, the news.
Apartment living seems to be the latest craze. As family homes become more expensive and the salaries of the working class remain the same, apartment living has become the popular choice among young people. For pet lovers, this can be quite depressing. Many complex rules are adamant, no pets allowed, and even if they are, the small spaces that come with apartment living make it impractical to keep them. Fear not. You don't have to give up your companion. Today on Pets World, we look at dogs that make great apartment pets. Apartments aren't ideal to house pets such as dogs. But there are few breeds that can get away with living in small spaces. One of them is surprisingly the Great Dane. According to popular YouTube channel Funny Pet Videos, the Great Dane are great apartment pets.
The Great Dane. It's hard to believe that these gentle giants make wonderful pets for small apartments, but it's true. Great Danes are patient, friendly dogs, and contrary to their lean physical stature, they don't require a lot of exercise. These majestic creatures can quite happily spend all day lounging on the couch. So if you're looking for a four-legged friend to hang out with during those Netflix binges, then a Great Dane could be your perfect match. This dog breed acts surprisingly mellow. A Great Dane will need a daily walk, but otherwise, they don't need a ton of exercise. Just provide a comfy place for your Great Dane to lounge in your apartment, and he'll make himself right at home.
Another big dog that is considered apartment friendly is the Greyhound. These tall but thin dogs don't need as much exercise. Greyhounds also don't bark a lot, making them ideal for your home. Funny Pet says pugs also make great apartment pets. Their small stature and adaptable nature makes them an easy, friendly option for your home.
Pugs make even-tempered, loyal companions, and their compact size makes them perfect for small space living. They get along well with adults and children, and their adaptable nature makes them wonderful additions to households that already include other pets. They'll go with you to the park, and they'll happily accompany you just about anywhere that you want to take them. They don't need a lot of outdoor exercise, so spending most of their days indoors will work just fine. These four-legged clowns are curious by nature, so they require a lot of time to explore their surroundings on walks. Vet Street explains these playful and mischievous dogs can adapt to just about any environment and lifestyle.
And of course, there's the Shih Tzu. These dogs are so small and affectionate, it's hard to resist not having them as your own.
Shih Tzu's long flowing coats may be high maintenance, but their mild temperaments and affectionate natures makes them worth the extra effort when it comes to grooming. Although they're alarmed by strangers, Shih Tzus are perfectly comfortable in their own territory, and they love to cuddle with the people they adore. The Shih Tzu was bred to be a friendly lapdog. They make great companions as they're affectionate and calm. A Shih Tzu will fit into any living environment. They're friendly to owners, strangers, other pets, and even children. This dog was practically bred to be the perfect apartment companion.
Funny Pet Videos, popular YouTube channel. Well, that's Pets World today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
You did the job search, you aced the interview, and you've got the job. Hey, I'm Tana. Today on Lifestyle Pages, adjusting to your new job. Starting a new job can be both daunting and overwhelming. Adapting to a new routine and getting to know your co-workers. Here are some things you can do when starting a new job. Adopt the company's culture. This is very important. Listen and observe at all times. Bear in mind you're the new employee, therefore make the effort to reach out, but don't overdo it. Think outside the box. Always show your enthusiasm and creativity in your work. Here are some things you mustn't do. Don't compare your previous job to this one, even if it's the same position. This should be your opportunity to learn new things and contribute to bright ideas. Your first 90 days are crucial. It will make or break you. So, have an open mind. I'm Tana, and those were your Lifestyle Pages.
News on the go. The latest stories from Jamaica and around the world are literally a finger tap away. Keep up to date with Team Revolution 24 hours a day online via nationwideradiojm.com. Listen live, read the latest stories, hear every soundbite. Be a part of the vibrant online debate via Facebook and Twitter. Now you can get all your favorite premium nationwide content at your convenience. Visit the Android Play Store and download it for free today. NationwideRadioJM.com. All day, every day. Team Revolution.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is
News time 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, or 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville. Yes.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 today, Wednesday, January 8, Opposition Leader Mark Golding says the performance of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation under the watch of the Prime Minister is abysmal. Matthew Samuda says Port Royal pipelines are a promise kept by the Holness administration. The Jamaica Employers Federation says the country's progress is being undermined by a crisis in education. And in international news, in the Bahamas, international news, thousands told to evacuate as wildfires rip through Los Angeles suburbs.
News at 7 is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. An abysmal failure. That's the assessment from Opposition Leader Mark Golding regarding the performance of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation under the leadership of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Golding made the remarks at a recent constituents meeting in East Rural St. Andrew. Mahiri Stewart reports.
The opposition leader is taking Prime Minister Andrew Holness to task over his handling of the economy. Mark Golding points to the sharp slowdown in economic activity and criticizes the Prime Minister's recent attempt to shift direction. This despite the establishment and management of a so-called Ministry of Economic Growth for nearly a decade.
We have a government that has suddenly decided that it's time to pivot to growth. But this is the same government that established a Ministry of Economic Growth. We've had a ministry so-called economic growth for 9 years. And who is in charge of that ministry? The Prime Minister himself, Andrew Holness. And it's a mental failure. So much so that in 2024, we had negative growth. And we had negative growth not only because of Beryl, but before Beryl, for the months leading up to it, the economy has been getting slower and slower.
The Jamaican economy shrank by 3.5% in the July to September quarter of 2024, following flat 0.2% growth in the previous quarter. To address this apparent stagnation, Prime Minister Andrew Holness unveiled a new growth initiative called Aspire Jamaica in November. According to Holness, Aspire Jamaica marks a fresh chapter in the nation's drive for meaningful development, claiming the initiative will break the cycle of weak economic growth. However, Golding, addressing comrades in East Rural St. Andrew, boldly stated that when the PNP assumes office, it will inherit a severely underperforming economy.
The tax revenues of the country are down this year. When we form government, we're not going into a nice buoyant situation. We're going into a situation where the Labour Party has dropped the ball and the economy is weak and is just struggling along. But we understand what it takes to build a strong economy so our people can be wealthy, our people can reach their hopes and dreams.
It's important to note, however, that according to the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, tax revenues for the fiscal year 2024-2025 were revised upward from an original forecast of $899 billion to $905 billion as at October. This upward revision suggests that rather than declining, tax revenues have exceeded expectations so far this year. Golding didn't stop there. He also slammed the government for neglecting the country's road infrastructure until very recently.
Here our Prime Minister said we have an emergency in the country because of road. Why we have a problem with road? We have a problem with road because the government has not been attending to the issue of roads. They have done nothing to maintain the road network. They like the big projects because they can pop and scrape dollars off it for them and their cronies. But the roads where the people of Jamaica have to drive on every day, them are not done with those roads. And owners suffer because of the lack of attention and care of this uncaring government.
On December 30, the government kickstarted the $45 billion Spark program, marking the beginning of a significant infrastructure push. It's one of the largest investments in Jamaica's roadways in recent history. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
The Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says the commissioning of the new pipelines in Port Royal represents a promise kept by the Holness administration. He was speaking at the commissioning ceremony on Tuesday.
In 2023, we were at this location for the groundbreaking ceremony for the Port Royal Pipeline Replacement Project. Today, we gather here with great pride and anticipation to commission the new pipelines officially. This is evidence, as the chairman said, of a waterific day because it is representative of a promise made and a promise kept. This upgrade was not just about changing infrastructure, it was about improving the quality of life.
Matthew Samuda, Minister with responsibility for water. The $533 million Jamaican dollar upgrade will see the replacement of fragile pipelines with modern high-density pipes. The upgrade will see over 2,000 residents benefiting from an improved water supply system. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, the guest speaker at the commissioning ceremony, said the upgrade will also improve access to potable water for visitors. Meanwhile, the MP for East Kingston and Port Royal, Philip Paulwell, says the upgrade will help improve the quality of life for residents.
That sunken city that we know if it ever gets on the front page, there will be nothing in the world that could rival it. And I think the time now to develop the sunken city is right. And I really want to urge that that be placed on the agenda. As we acknowledge today the significant function, as we, on behalf of the residents of Port Royal, say thanks for this wonderful project that will ensure that we have high, good quality water and then the sewage to follow.
Philip Paulwell, the MP for East Kingston and Port Royal. Meanwhile, the Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says the recently launched bill amnesty will help rather than hurt the fiscal position of the National Water Commission, NWC. The 90-day amnesty took effect on Thursday, January 2. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
The National Water Commission will be giving up potential billions in uncollected revenue on delinquent accounts as part of the new amnesty program. However, Matthew Samuda argues that in real terms, this will not be a financial hit to the water company.
So this is an extension of a program that we engaged in the section of Portmore that we've been doing our non-revenue water program, George. And generally what we've found is that this has actually improved the cash position of NWC, because you'll find that you have billions of dollars on the books, but it's for all intents and purposes, it's not collectible. None of these persons are able to pay this. It's most cases based on what were huge household leaks. Many times for pensioners who simply don't have the capacity to pay it over. Now, the other issue, and one that I've been at pains to explain, is that the general cost of collection, and anyone in this type of business will tell you that it is upwards of 40%. So a lot of what you see on the books, in many ways, is not real, because the cost of collecting it would remove upwards of 40% of it.
Under the amnesty, pensioners who were assessed as being in need based on the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH, will have their debt written off and reconnection fees waived. This will allow pensioners to reconnect legally and facilitate the transfer of titles where outstanding bills are a challenge. The program will last for 3 months up to March 31, 2025. Minister Samuda says delinquent customers have the potential to worsen the company's non-revenue water concerns. Non-revenue water represents that which has been produced and is lost before it reaches the customer. Losses can be real, through leaks or through theft or metering inaccuracies. Minister Samuda says it's in the best interest of the NWC to formalize these customers.
So it's not in our interest for it to remain on the books with these persons who have water lines in their areas running past their homes, not being reconnected, not getting back to becoming paying customers of the NWC. In some cases, it's a difficult truth and a difficult matter to discuss, but in some cases, this has contributed heavily to our non-revenue water, because persons have gone ahead after being disconnected to go illegally connect. It is in our interest to have them brought back in the formal system and become paying customers while managing their debt in line with the parameters that we've set.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The country's progress is being undermined by a crisis in education. That's the word from President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, JEF, Wayne Chen. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday.
We have an education crisis, and we're not even acknowledging that. It's difficult to get a revolutionary change in the run-up to a general election. But whatever happens after this election, whichever government forms the government of Jamaica later this year, will have to grab education. We'll have to grab the Patterson Commission report, which in many ways repeated earlier reports, and move to implementation. We have a huge implementation deficit in Jamaica, and we need a national conversation around education and training, because my fear is that Jamaica just falls further behind. And as I say, one of our curses and blessings is being next to an advanced economy that values Jamaican workers. They love our healthcare workers. They love our teachers. You can't find some teachers in the high school system in Jamaica because they are pushed away by the Americans.
Chen was responding to the alarm raised by a principal of the Mona campus of the UWI, Professor Denzel Williams, about the quality of the country's workforce. According to Professor Williams, 70% of the country's labor force is within the prime working age of 25 to 54 years. However, he says only 13% have high-level certification, such as a university degree. Chen says local policymakers are faced with several challenges in improving the quality of the country's workforce.
Jamaica stands alone in terms of not only having a relatively low-skilled workforce, not only having one of the worst rates of productivity improvement in the hemisphere over the last 50 years, but we also don't have the highest rate of brain drain. So there are many dilemmas facing policymakers, and this has been pointed out many times over the years. This is something that's well known, that Jamaica, if we're going to make a quantum leap forward in economic growth and development, we have to rapidly increase the high-value skills in the economy. We have to rapidly ramp up training our people in marketable skills. There are many opportunities as well as the challenges, but we have to change gear in terms of our education and training and our attitude to the certification of skills.
That's Wayne Chen, President of the Jamaica Employers Federation. The opposition spokesman on finance and MP for South East St. Andrew, Julian Robinson, says the general election expected later this year will be one of the most consequential in the country's history. Robinson, who was addressing PNP supporters in East Rural St. Andrew on the weekend, says integrity must be the central theme of the upcoming campaign.
Comrades, this election, which is due by September this year, is going to be one of the most consequential general elections in recent history. And I'm going to explain why. It is important for the country to go in a different direction. Jamaica must have a government of integrity from the top, because if you don't have it at the top, you cannot enforce it anywhere else. Jamaica needs a government that will balance the lives of the Jamaican people while ensuring that we balance the books.
The PNP is seeking to overturn the JLP's 35-seat majority. Robinson told comrades that East Rural St. Andrew is among the seats the party must take back from the JLP if they are to form the next government.
Because East Rural has to come in for the People's National Party for us to ensure that Comrade Mark Golding will be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and most importantly, that we can fashion a new Jamaica, a Jamaica based on integrity, a Jamaica based on respect, a Jamaica that will ensure that every Jamaican, regardless of where you come from, has an equal opportunity to do the best for him or herself.
Julian Robinson, opposition spokesman on finance and the MP for Southeast St. Andrew. The police have arrested 2 suspects in connection with a fatal shooting incident in Hayes, Clarendon on Sunday, January 5. The suspects were reportedly apprehended in a coordinated operation on Monday, just hours after the incident. Reports are that about 8:30 p.m., a group of people were in a yard in the community when armed men drove up and fired several shots. When the shooting subsided, 4 people were found suffering from gunshot wounds, among them 31-year-old Daniel Bowen. He later died from his injuries. Residents are being urged to share any information they have on this or any other crime with Crime Stop at 311 or the JCF tip line at 811. Commanding Officer for the Manchester Police, Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan, is urging residents to find more amicable means of resolving their domestic disputes. His call follows Monday's fatal shooting of 50-year-old O'Kerry Gale. Gale was shot by the police after refusing repeated orders to surrender a machete he had in his possession. It's the same machete which Gale is believed to have used to chop his 77-year-old father multiple times moments before. DSP Duncan says clear instructions were given to Gale to drop the machete.
The police team gave clear instructions to Mr. Gale to drop the machete that he was armed with. And instead of dropping the machete, Mr. Gale held the machete in the air and threatened to kill the elderly man that was on the ground. The police at this point discharged their weapons in the air in a bid to have Mr. Gale drop the machete and to cease the attack. Mr. Gale, however, continued the attack on the helpless man that was on the ground. And at this point, for the fear that the man on the ground would be further injured or killed by Mr. O'Kerry Gale, the police officers, in defense of the gentleman's life, discharged their weapon in the direction of Mr. O'Kerry Gale, who was hit.
DSP Duncan says Gale's father remains in hospital. The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, has started a probe. DSP Duncan says feuding relatives must seek help to settle their disputes.
This very unfortunate incident really underscores the importance of persons to find amicable and mature way to treat with disputes. There are so many agencies that are available to assist in these areas. So we speak about the CSSB department at my police station, chaplains, justices of the peace, and the restorative justice centers that are available. I just want to implore persons that to raise their level of intellect when treating with disputes, find more peaceful and amicable way to deal with these incidents.
DSP Kerry Duncan, commanding officer for the Manchester Police. Overseas news now. More than 30,000 people have been ordered to evacuate Los Angeles as wildfires sweep across an area covering almost 3,000 acres. A state of emergency has been declared in the area, with officials saying they expect things to worsen throughout Wednesday. The flames from a fire that broke out Tuesday evening near a nature preserve in the inland foothills northeast of the city spread rapidly in incredibly dry conditions and high winds. Another blaze that started hours earlier ripped through the city's Pacific Pacific Palisades neighborhood, a hillside area along the coast dotted with celebrity residences. In the frantic haste to get to safety, roadways became impossible when scores of people abandoned their vehicles and fled on foot, some toting suitcases. The traffic jam on Palisades Drive prevented emergency vehicles from getting through, and a bulldozer was brought in to push the abandoned cars to the side and create a path. Video along the Pacific Coast Highway showed widespread destruction of homes and businesses along the famed roadway. That's the news.
News at 7 was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:18.
Fix up with Fleetwood products for your home improvement, personal care, and aromatherapy needs. They have your well-being in mind. Available at retailers island-wide. The temperature by Fleetwood Jamaica is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
All right, so we're waiting for Ludlow McLean to join us. As soon as he does, we'll be underway with Street Smarts 2, and then we'll get to the front page. This morning, we'll be speaking with the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, the Member of Parliament for Eastern St. Andrew, to get a sense of the government's plans for 2025. Of course, there's a small matter of a general election this year. So what that means for the spending plans and the priority areas between now and whenever it is that we will be told by the Prime Minister to get ready to select an administration for the next 5-year cycle. So that's to come in a few minutes as soon as we get through to Ludlow, who we're trying to reach still. Mr. King trying yet again. And as soon as we get the Street Smarts 2 out of the way, we'll be on the road with the front page. Mr. King, are we persevering? All right. So I think we're one short this morning. So let's take the break, and when we come back, Favour Williams.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
All right, 7:23 on this Wednesday morning, Wednesday, January 8, 2025. You're with the front page here on Nationwide this morning. All right, so let's get to it. The president of the private sector organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, Metri Siaga, says economic growth is at the top of the list of aspirations for business people this year.
For me, growth is the most important factor that we have now. We have set the macroeconomic stability in place. We have the economy moving in the right direction. Our international ratings are improving significantly. Now what we need is growth. Simply put, our economy is too small for the services that we require as a country. So we need to increase the size of our economy by getting growth. And that growth is going to come through high value added manufacturing and more value added to the agricultural sector.
Siaga says natural disasters pose the biggest obstacle to the expansion of the economy.
No, I don't think there are any impediments other than if we have a natural disaster. I think that the things are in place now to make it happen. It's now the will of the government and the will of the private sector to go out there and make it happen now. All is in place.
And one of the country's most respected financial analysts, John Jackson, believes the Jamaican economy is poised for growth in 2025.
The hurricane affected some places for a period of time with output in agriculture. So when you're having less activity caused by a major event, you have a multiplying effect across the board, which shouldn't be there. 2025, I expect, all things being equal, you'll see growth returning to the economy for most of 2025, if not for the entire year, because the tourism numbers from all indications have rebounded, and you're not going to have the problems you had last year where you had a presidential election, election generally in the states, which tend to, and you can see the numbers where people stayed away from traveling.
That's John Jackson, financial analyst. We have with us now this morning the Finance Minister, Favour Williams. She's the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the first woman to hold this office. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, George. Good morning to your listeners and your viewers as well.
Thank you. The obvious first question to ask, Minister, is this one. What state does 2025 find the fiscal accounts in?
2025 find us at a place in which we are recovering from the impact of the significant hurricane that we had in July of last year. And shortly thereafter, if you recall, we had Raphael and the continuing just incessant rain that we have had during the last quarter of last year. So it finds us in a place where we are recovering from that. And if you recall as well, we are still recovering from COVID. We're at a point now where I think when we look at the figures, we could say we're back to pre-COVID levels, but then we went into the hurricane season. So at least in the first quarter, we will see that continued recovery phase.
And Minister, in our newscast this morning, the opposition leader, how he described it was that the economy is just weak and struggling. If you could find descriptors for how you would described the economy this fiscal year, what would you say?
I would say resilient. We have come out of COVID that really took the bottom out of the economy, but we saw where we were able to recover quickly. And that is one of the hallmark of this economy and the reforms that have been put in place. Yes, we go through these cycles, whether they're natural disaster or health disaster, but the important thing is our ability to recover in a short period of time. And that speaks to resilience in our fiscal affairs, resilience in terms of our markets, our businesses. If you look at our monetary affairs, those are all in order. Monetary meaning the Bank of Jamaica. So I would characterize us as being able to weather the various storms and come out of those and look forward to better growth.
The issue of growth is a significant one. You heard us play clips from Metro Siaga talking about the need for growth and the need for expansion of the economy. If we're to go by again what the opposition leader said, he says, look, don't be led by the government saying that the slowdown in the economy was occasioned by Beryl. He says that there was evidence of slowdown even before Beryl, and what Beryl did was exacerbate a situation that was already going bad. In essence, the economy has gone stagnant and worse under the leadership of the JLP, and that this was evident even before Beryl. Is that true?
George, you have to understand the magnitude of what we went through with COVID. You just have to look at the numbers. You had the last quarter that went down by about 20%. We're coming from a negative 20% during COVID to where we are now. So yes, we're in a period still of recovering. And layer on top of that, the natural disasters that we've had. And so my word again is resilience. Not just in terms of the people of Jamaica, but in terms of the financial and monetary affairs of Jamaica.
Coming from that perspective then, from that basis, if we use 2021 as a baseline, because between that point and the last quarter, we were recording, 13 consecutive quarters of growth? Is that it?
Right.
13, right. So if we look at that, Beryl came and the impact is on the books. The numbers are there to show. Are you saying that in that situation, there don't exist levers that a government can pull to bring the economy back into equilibrium rather than wait for a period of time to elapse and for things to correct themselves? What is it? Is it that you don't have the capacity to pull these levers to get things back on track, or you must see out the process and make time or to correct the imbalances in the economy?
Okay, well, George, you have to go back in history and look at how much longer it would have taken an economy, the Jamaican economy, to recover from hurricanes and other such disasters. What I'm saying to you now, those levers that you're talking about, those are helping us to recover in a shorter time frame. Some of the levers include what we have done, ensuring that, and Minister Green will talk when he talks about agriculture, ensuring there's help to farmers, ensuring help to persons who may have, lost their jobs during that period. Those are some of the levers you pull to help the economy to come back, because you ensure that there is continued demand in the economy, especially for those persons who may have lost jobs during the period of time.
So all right, the impact of Spark. People are looking and saying billions are set to be spent in the economy this calendar year. One would expect that a significant portion will be spent before we are called to the polls. Just what impact is that expenditure, government expenditure, public expenditure, expected to do to the overall health of the economy, economic activity, the impact it will have on that? And are we expecting that will be a significant boost for the fortunes of the economy, say for the first 6-7 months of 2025?
Right, so government spending does help the economy. we know that our road infrastructure needs significant improvement.
Mm-hmm.
People need to get from A to B in a faster period of time because, sitting in traffic means you're losing productivity.
Mm-hmm.
So the extent that you can get to where you're going faster, you will see that reflected. The road network, look at developed countries. They have significant road network because they realize the importance of movement of goods and people.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to have a positive impact on the economy, and it's a massive injection of capital spending into the economy, for which we're looking for the growth to come from that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Minister, hold the line. Well, not the line. You are in studio. We're going to take a break here on Nationwide this morning. It's the front page. We'll come back with more, sitting and having a chat with the Minister of Finance, Favour Williams.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:33.
Total Tools is totally thankful to all their totally terrific customers for their support this year. We wish you a totally blessed holiday season and a totally tremendous new year. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackhammer. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
If them a hide and a bribe, you know we not sleep. Extortion them want, you know that not keep. Fight against corruption, turn up the heat. Load up the kickback and fraud when you see. Anti-corruption, join in the fight. Let's come together and make this right. When you see wrong, you feel open your mouth. Now there's a new avenue for speak out. We need a reduction. Make we fight against corruption.
The Integrity Commission is working towards Jamaica, where there's integrity, accountability, and transparency in public service, where acts of corruption by persons in public office will be investigated and dealt with transparency and accountability. Stand with us in the fight against corruption. Call the Integrity Commission Anti-Corruption Hotline 876-926-0001.
Make we fight against corruption.
The Jamaica Defence Force invites members of the public to its sail and fly past at Victoria Pier, downtown Kingston, on Monday, January 13, 2025 at 9 a.m. Come and witness the JDF's assets in a brilliant display of military precision in the air and on the seas. Members of the public are being advised that ceremonial explosives will be utilized during the ceremony, but these will not pose any danger to lives or property. See you there.
More savings, more choices. Get active with Active Home Center. The one-stop shop for everything for your home. We have more savings, more choices, unbelievable prices. Wide selection with the latest style. The kitchen, bathroom, right down to the tile. Buy the hottest items on spot, don't miss out. Best options under one roof, no doubt. More savings, more choices.
Visit us in store or online at www.activehomecenter.com.
We have more savings, more choices.
Welcome back to the front page. The Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, is here with us. She says it's not the fact that the economy has been jolted by shocks, exogenous and otherwise. She says it's just the fact that the Jamaican economy is in a position to recover quicker, more quickly from these shocks compared to the economies of the past. And she says, look, that's a testament to the management of the economy over time. Its resilience is borne out by the fact that such an event as Hurricane Beryl can land, and COVID and the hangover effect of COVID can still be affecting the economy, but the economy can still emerge out of those situations. She says only a healthy economy, only an economy being managed well is able to do just that, Tona.
And a part of that emergence, George, before the break, you were asking the minister about the Spark program, and her response being that she sees the demand and supply being a factor that could help in that economic recovery, as well as the knock-on effect of productivity. If we have better roads, people are able to get faster to where they need to go and do what they need to do to stimulate economic growth. In the outlook, Minister, for 2025 as well, heading into the next fiscal year, what else occupies your mind as the Finance Minister as we look to see economic recovery for 2025?
All right, there are some things that we have on the calendar. For one, we're expecting to bring legislation to significantly enhance the large-scale projects and pioneering industries. And we're saying to investors, if you have USD 1 billion or more to invest in the Jamaican economy, come on in. We have a number of incentives that we will be rolling out. These will be very transparent through the laws, through this this amendment to the bill that will be coming to Parliament pretty soon. I know during the tenure of the last Minister of Finance and the Public Service, he would have spoken about that. The legislative process just took a little bit longer than we wanted, but we are at the finishing. We're at that point now where I think we will soon be in Parliament with that bill, and we're looking for great things from that. One of the other areas to which I am putting a lot of attention, and you would have heard businesses complain about this for a while, it's access to financing.
Yes.
We have done a pretty good job in terms of having an environment in which we have a robust financial sector, and that includes not just banks and brokerage companies, but the stock market as well. If you recall, the Juna market was pioneered some time ago, and that has been successful.
Hugely successful.
We want to go a little deeper to look at the micro market now. Smaller companies, because, you know, the Juna market, it's 50 million to and above that can go to the junior market. We want to look at smaller companies that do need access to the kind of risk capital that banks are not in a position to provide. And we believe that will open a lot of opportunities. When I spoke with the general manager of the stock exchange, she was saying that they've identified some 250 micro and small businesses that could be, you know, lined up to take advantage of that, and so get the kind of access, the capital, and the kind of capital, risk capital, that they're looking for, you know, investors who can stay with them for the long haul, not just a bank to give you a loan and then, you know, come next month, you got to make a payment, and the next month and so on. So that is occupying my mind as well, as to see how we can build a more robust corporate bond market, not just an equity market.
Oh, sorry for the interruption. So you're saying build out a corporate bond market,
Right.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that companies have options when they're looking at financing.
Yeah. As a business person yourself, you did very well at business, so you will understand very well the difficulties that people in business face. The lament, Minister, that decisions by the Bank of Jamaica, the central bank, on interest rates, that the reductions, it takes forever for the commercial banks to design their instruments and pass those through to their clients and customers. Does the Finance Ministry occupy a position where it can, I don't want to say prevail on the commercial banks, because those are private businesses and you want the market to deal with itself. But is there anything that can be done about what many business people cite as a serious impediment? You can't have the central bank reducing interest rates and it takes long for the lower interest rates to be reflected in what the commercial banks offer.
So I've been having conversations with the banks as with other sector leaders in the economy to understand what are some of the impediments. what are the things that we can do better, differently as a country, as a government. And I know that has been just kind of the widespread complaint about the banks. And to that, I would say, let us find other avenues. Let us make other avenues available to businesses who are seeking finance. And the idea about the micro market will certainly help a lot of those companies, because they are the ones who would go to the banks looking
and
for
who are balling
loans.
the loudest.
Right.
A former prime minister said famously that it takes cash to care. Yeah, and I lean on that because I want to ask you about the performance of the revenues, because without the revenues, you can have all the great intentions in the world, but you'll be able to fund nothing. In terms of revenue performance up to January and the projections from January forward, what can you tell Jamaica about the state of tax collection and revenue generation by the government?
All right. So I know in the up to October, we saw some level of outperformance, meaning positive relative to budgets. We're seeing now where you're really seeing the true impact of the hurricane. So we're looking at those numbers because we'll soon be in Parliament with a supplementary, because, you know, there have been some movements in terms of the different categories of funding. So you come back with a supplementary to kind of lay out the budget. A little bit early for me to say, but in short order, the country will know where we stand.
So just to restate it, so you're saying up to October you were outperforming. Actual was outperforming budget in terms of revenue.
Right.
Up to October.
Right.
But you were saying that you anticipate that the effect of burial may have an impact on October forward, and so
November,
December. So the supplementary estimates is. Are you saying that it will be tabled in January this month? Are you going this month?
Right.
So and that was always on the cards, regardless of if you had a disruption of the kind that burial caused last year.
Well, usually we do come with a supplementary. Like I said, remember your spending during the year.
You have to realign, right?
Realignment and so on.
Right.
Yep.
So, but I'm just trying to see if the scale of the fall off from burial would have caused you to come with it early, to craft it earlier than you would usually have.
No, it's when I look at the calendar, the budget calendar, it's in the
same
normal
place.
spot.
Yeah.
Because remember, for the December quarter, Statin informed the country that GDP declined 3.5%.
Yeah.
And that is significant when I look back at the quarterly performance, going back as far as Statin has numbers, except for the COVID years, we've not seen a 3.5% decline on in a quarter.
So what do you anticipate this will do to the government's ability to fund the things that it had committed to do from the original budget cycle last year?
So we're going to have to work harder in the coming year in terms of our revenue performance. We're saying to the TRJ, look at everything that you have. Make sure you're out there speaking with businesses. They may be a little late in coming in. Let's see how you can do that. We're talking with the customs department in terms of their efficiency levels as well, in terms of collecting revenue. So we're doing everything that we can because we recognize the shortfall in the December quarter. Was more significant than we thought prior.
We're up on the break, Donna? They say we're to take the break and come right back. This is Nationwide This Morning.
Listen up, motorists. Speeding burns more gas. So slow down. The life you save may be your own and also that of your loved ones. Slow down. Save lives and money. The time by the Insurance Association of Jamaica is
7:47.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The management and the staff of the Jamaica Customs Agency extend the very best wishes to you and your family for a safe, peaceful, and enjoyable holiday. Whether you're effecting clearance at the port, traveling to and from the airport, or undertaking other transactions, we urge you to travel safely, use good judgment, and stay within the speed limit. We thank you for your support throughout 2024 and look forward to a healthy, prosperous, and productive new year. Happy New Year from Jamaica Customs. The Jamaica Defense Force invites members of the public to its sail and fly past at Victoria Pier, downtown Kingston, on Monday, January 13, 2025 at 9 a.m. Come and witness the JDF's assets in a brilliant display of military precision in the air and on the seas. Members of the public are being advised that ceremonial explosives will be utilized during the ceremony, but these will not pose any danger to lives or property. See you there.
Pay nothing down on a shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payments until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payments until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai. Hyundai. For free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
If them a hide and a bribe, you know we not sleep. Extortion them want, you know that not kill. Fight against corruption, turn up the heat. Load up the kickback and fraud when you see. Anti-corruption, join in the fight. Let's come together and make this right. When you see wrong, you feel open your mouth. Now there's a new avenue for speak out. We need a reduction. Make we fight against corruption.
The Integrity Commission is working towards Jamaica, where there's integrity, accountability, and transparency in public service, where acts of corruption by persons in public office will be investigated and dealt with transparency and accountability. Stand with us in the fight against corruption. Call the Integrity Commission Anti-Corruption Hotline 876-926-0001.
Make we fight against corruption.
Speaking with the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, she was speaking about the revenue performance, and we may have said the December quarter, actually the September quarter.
Negative 3.5%.
5%. The December quarter numbers are not yet in, but she was saying based on what they saw in the September quarter, then it suggests that the outturn was more serious than they had anticipated, and that they have taken steps to see if they can have the agencies which deal with heavy revenue collection ramp up their own efforts to ensure that they boost their own efforts, so it helps the national picture, Tana.
Yeah, and get things that need to be done before the end of this fiscal year done. But
Absolutely.
Heading into the next fiscal year, Minister Williams, are there any major shifts in the spending priorities of the government?
Well, I know that we will continue to spend on roads, because it's mostly in 2025 that you will begin to see the impact of the Spark program in terms of road rehabilitation in a major way. We have to continue to spend on health in that sector, and you will notice that there will be significant construction in the health sector. There has been already, but I know at UWI, they're preparing for a major building there.
Yes.
They would have torn down an old building, built a parking lot, rerouted some of the roads and getting ready for that. So we will see in 2025 just significantly more in terms of the construction sector, which is good for job opportunities in the economy. It's good for renewal, for efficiencies, and all of that. We will continue to emphasize education and training. You saw that HEART during this past year really ramped up its training activities. It will continue to do that. And there are, again, on the legislative front, we hope to have an aggressive agenda coming to Parliament to ensure that amendments that we need to make to existing laws happen quickly. And I mentioned at the top of the interview, coming to Parliament with a large-scale a pioneering industry to encourage investments of US dollar $1 billion or more in the economy.
And that will happen this month, you say, that piece of legislation?
Well, we're hoping that by the end of January,
okay,
we'll have it in Parliament.
The Jamaican taxpayers also, Minister, have become accustomed to no new taxes being a part of the budget presentations and the new fiscal year cycles. Should that be what taxpayers expect as well for fiscal year 2025?
We're working towards that, of course. It's been a hallmark of this administration in terms of not, putting heavy taxation on the backs of Jamaicans. We have looked for every way that we can to reduce that burden. More recently, you saw the reverse income tax credit, where persons and companies, if they filed their reports on time, their employees were entitled to receiving $20,000 back if their income was $3 million or less. So we look for different ways in which we can say to the Jamaican people, we value you, we value the work that you've done. Here is what your government is doing for you. So we have every intention of continuing to look for ways in which we can continue to help the Jamaican people.
A comment made famous, Minister, by a predecessor of yours several election cycles ago. Run with it. And I mention run with it because people are saying that given the state of the political temperature and the fact that the PNP gave the JLP an almighty fright on February 24, the local government elections, that the government is expected to open up the purse strings for this general election. So they're saying Favour will preside over a run-with-it kind of budget. Are they right?
I continue to say to the Jamaican people, we are a government of fiscal prudence. We will continue to manage the affairs of this country in a way that is sustainable. But at the same time, we're going to be ensuring that we look for avenues of greater growth so that the Jamaican people have, more that they can look forward to in the future. And we will do everything that we can to bring more benefits to the Jamaican people. We are not a run-with-it government.
So, when I interviewed Dr. Nigel Clark shortly before he left, he said to me that one of the things that his successor would have to do, and of course he wouldn't know that it was you at the time, or maybe he did, but he said that one of the things that his successor would have to do was to have the ability to say no when certain requests were made that were not in the medium to long-term best fiscal interest of the country. Are you telling Jamaica today that if you're called upon to open the purse strings to win the election, but doing so may put Project Jamaica in jeopardy, that you'll say no?
George, I'm saying to you, we continue to be a government of fiscal prudence, and all the ministers sitting in the cabinet understand that. We do understand the need to win the next election as well, and I believe, I believe just deeply in my soul that in our conversations with the Jamaican people, we can call on our performance over the years that we have been in government. Unemployment is at the lowest it's been in the history of at least independent Jamaica. Who would have thought that we would be here, at 3+% unemployment in this country? Never in my lifetime I thought that, right? So more people have access to jobs, more people have jobs. Opportunities are more plentiful now than they've ever been in this country. And so we have that record of achievement that we can go to the Jamaican people with and say, trust us to continue making these inroads. Trust us to continue creating an environment for you to do well in this economy. The other party cannot say that. If you look at their history of growth, if you compared to us, even in this recent administration now, we can boast of 15 consecutive quarters of growth before COVID. We can boast of that, So I want to say to the Jamaican people, you've seen us, you've seen our performance. You can trust us when we say that, we have your best interest at heart. We will do all we can to ensure that benefits come to you, but within the context of what we are charged to manage, which will be more sustainable for you in the future. It does no good to do a run with it right now and then have to try to recover after the election. It just will set us back. If you recall, when the Jamaica Labour Party came to power in 2016, we were in the midst of an IMF program. It wasn't a nice time at that time. We had to, the country at that time was banning its belly, as you would say. We've managed through that IMF program and others that we helped to create after that. And now we're in a position where there is not a need for an IMF program again. So let us take these gains and move forward with them. And I think that conversation with the Jamaican people that says, let us continue on this path. Growth is significantly higher growth is within our grasp. We have put in place buffers to help us to deal with natural disasters, as you saw coming out of this one. In the education sector, over 100 schools were severely damaged. But in a matter of 8 weeks, because we had the budget space, we were able to bring those schools back online. And the sector opened as usual, as if we never went through a significant hurricane. So those are some of the things that we have done to build resilience into the economy. We have built trust in the people of Jamaica in terms of managing the fiscal affairs. And I say to the people of Jamaica, we would like a third term based on our performance of the economy and our plans for the future.
Hear you on that. It's 8 o'clock, Tona. Should we call it now?
Yeah.
We should call it now. Minister, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for the work done up to this point. And we wish you and the team at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and your constituents in Eastern St. Andrew all the best for 25.
Thank you.
Minister of Finance and the Public Service in studio with us, Favour Williams. Going to take a break for Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
JCAP, respect the music, respect the creators, play by the rules. The time by JCAP is
8:01.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us, is
26 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 24 out in Montego Bay, and 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica this morning.
Taking you across Jamaica this Wednesday morning, I'm Tona Thomas. The Project for the Advancement of Childhood Education, PACE Canada, in collaboration with local partners, has donated 1,500 tablets to early childhood institutions across the country. The devices are valued at more than $88,000. They were handed over at Jamaica China Goodwill Infant School in Kingston on Tuesday. Presentations were made to 3 of the 300 beneficiary institutions: the Jamaica China Goodwill Infant School, Jamaica House Basic School, and Little Angels Early Childhood Development Center. According to reports by JIS, the tablets are dedicated learning devices, which means there are no other applications on them, and children cannot change any of the device settings. The dual-power tablets can be charged by electricity or solar, and no internet connection is required. PACE Canada is a registered charitable foundation that focuses on enhancing the overall development of young children at the critical stage of 3 to 6 years old. President Diana Burke says the charity donated more than 900 tablets under the government's One Laptop per Child initiative, which was launched during the COVID-19 pandemic. Partners in the project include Burrito Foundation, JMMB Joan Duncan Foundation, Doctors Cave, JPS Foundation, VM Foundation, and author Marjorie Straw. Commanding Officer for the Manchester Police Division, Deputy Superintendent Kerry Duncan, is urging residents to find more amicable ways of resolving domestic disputes. His call follows Monday's fatal shooting of 50-year-old Okeri Gale. Gale was shot by the police after refusing repeated orders to surrender a machete he had in his possession. It's the same machete which Gale is believed to have used to chop his 77-year-old father multiple times moments before. DSP Duncan says feuding relatives must seek help to settle their disputes.
This very unfortunate incident really underscores the importance of persons to find amicable and mature way to treat with disputes. There are so many agencies that are available to assist in these areas. So we speak about the CSSB department at my police station, chaplains, justices of the peace, and the restorative justice centers that are available. I just want to implore persons that to raise their level of intellect when treating with disputes, find more peaceful and amicable way to deal with these incidents.
DSP Kerry Duncan, commanding officer for the Manchester Police. Gale's father remains in hospital. Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Michael Belnavis, has welcomed repairs done to Main Street in Ocho-Rios. He was speaking with Nationwide News on Tuesday.
This particular road, because of the rains that we had from burial, it was relatively in bad condition. There were potholes all over. So the father, the member of Parliament, was able to proactively come through and repair those roads in a timely manner, sends a good narrative and sends a good picture of what is to happen in Northeastern and certainly Ocho-Rios as we move forward.
The St. Anne's Bay Mayor says Main Street is the first of several roads in the parish which will be given special attention.
Once you pass the roads, there's better throughput of traffic, so it will allow for less traffic tie-up in the town. We're actually extending it also into areas such as Great Pond and Boxfield, which are also pitted at certain points. So those are some of the things that we're looking to do right now. Get into the major thoroughfare first, thereafter move into the communities and repair the roads. But those are happening also. So it's a major comprehensive rehabilitation right throughout the Ocho-Rios. And of course, the wider Northeast and St. Anne's Bay, their town and so on, exchange. But certainly Ocho-Rios is the focus right now.
Michael Belnavis, Mayor of St. Anne's Bay. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Wednesday morning.
Dear Keisha, look how much time me carry go Krispy Kreme this year. And at this you really give me for Christmas? Socks can yam, It's better you did get me some Krispy Kreme holiday treats. Delicious Christmas donuts like Santa Bailey, Holiday Tree, glazed sorrel filled and gift wrap with a refreshing sorrel chiller if you wash it down. Now that is festive. Shame on you, Keisha. Me, I watch you, Byron. Visit any location to get the perfect holiday treat and enjoy the holidays with Krispy Kreme.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Pay nothing down on a shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payments until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payments until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai. Hyundai. For free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Are you ready for it?
Revo. Coming soon.
Fit Nation is brought to you by Express Fitness 24/7. Your goal is our mission.
You want a hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work. You want a Lamborghini? Sip martinis, look hot in a bikini. You better work. You wanna live fancy, live in a big mansion, party in France. You better work. You better work. You better work. You better work. Now get to work. Now get to work. Ring it on, ring it loud. Don't stop now, just be the champion. Work it hard like it's your profession. Watch out now, 'cause here it comes. Here comes the smasher, here comes the master, here comes the big beat to blast ya. No time to quit now, just time to get it now. Pick up what I'm putting down, pick up what I'm putting down. You want a hot body, you want a Bugatti, you want a Maserati, you better work. You want a Lamborghini, sip martinis, look hot in a bikini. You better work. You wanna live fancy, live in a big mansion, party in France. You better work. You better work. You better work. You better work. Now get to work.
That time of a Wednesday morning, it's time for Fit Nation. In Fit Nation this morning, we're focusing on the JDF hosting their Ooh, am I looking at the wrong thing? Is that what Michelle is saying? Okay, my producer is telling me I'm looking at the wrong thing. You know what caught me off guard? Because the next script says exercise event. So I'm like, it all forms part of Fit Nation. But that's not what I'm focusing on for Fit Nation. On Fit Nation, we're focusing on resetting your fitness goals in the new year. Resetting your fitness goals for 2025. So as the new year begins, it's the perfect time to reassess and reset your fitness goals. So on Fit Nation today, we're exploring Practical strategies for building sustainable habits, staying motivated, and tailoring workouts to your lifestyle. To discover or to help us out this morning on expert tips to do that, we are being joined by the founder and CEO of Bikini Girl Fitness, Diane Brown. Hey to you, Diane.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Morning to you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. So, Diane, you know, for a lot of people during the Christmas season, they take a break away from their fitness routine, going to the gym, or if they were working out at home and all of that. And also during the Christmas season, you tend to hear that people, you know, they're eating up a lot of the Christmas food and forget their fitness priorities. That goes to the sideline. But as the new year begins 2025, I'd ask first, what are the most important steps to take when resetting fitness goals in the new year?
I think one of the most important things is not to punish yourself or to feel guilty for enjoying life and spending time with family and enjoying the Christmas cake. The New Year is a beautiful opportunity to reset and reevaluate and to think about the things that may have worked last year or the year before and the things that did not work. So a lot of people just want to throw away 2024 and fresh start, but also there are some things that may have worked for you in 2024 that you can bring over. Maybe there are some things that you want to say, okay, this absolutely did not work for me, and I want to try something else in 2024. So I think instead of just throwing the whole year away, it's kind of evaluating what worked, what didn't work, and what you want to achieve going forward in 2025.
And how do people practically go about those things? If you could use me as an example, how can I set goals that are both ambitious and realistic? What do I do?
Well, first thing, what do you want to accomplish? Thinking about realistically what you want to accomplish, not what you think you're supposed to accomplish, quote unquote. So maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's getting stronger, and then kind of looking at what your life allows. So some of us work 9 to 5, maybe we have kids. So instead of getting up and saying, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, I'm going to be in that gym, maybe looking at your lifestyle and saying, okay, what I can commit to is 3 days, and maybe I'm not going to be able to make it to the gym all 3 of those days. I'm going to do 1 day at home, 2 days at the gym. I'm going to do strength training specifically. So just really getting specific instead of setting these lofty, vague goals. Or looking at what you're seeing on social media, looking at your lifestyle and what you're trying to accomplish and what's going to be practical for you.
So I've set out my goals now, and I've, aligned them with the reality of my life, my schedule, the time I have, all of that. And I've started out my fitness routine now for the new year. What are effective ways to stay motivated now for the rest of the year?
Now, here's the fallacy. You're not going to be motivated for the rest of it. In fact, you're lucky if you're motivated for the first 3 weeks, right? So we really have to be, again, realistic with ourselves. You're not going to be motivated, and this is where your discipline is going to have to kick in. And having those goals that you really, really want, especially if it's time-based, let's say you're getting married, in the next 3 months, that's a really exciting time-based goal. So, or create one for yourself. Maybe you're going to set your vacation day for the next 6 months or something, and that's like an exciting goal. You're going to go to Mexico, and that's an exciting time-based goal. So those things are very, very helpful. Obviously, we all want to be healthy, but that's not, when you say I just want to be healthy, how do you measure that? How do you know if you're healthy? So having something specific, I want to see the scale see X. I want to fit into this one specific skirt by May 12th, and you have that written down somewhere. So now that's an exciting goal. So whether or not you're motivated every day to do it, you're motivated by fitting into that skirt.
Yeah.
And that's how you build the discipline every day to do the things that are necessary to get to that particular goal.
Dan, you just mentioned something important about what healthy looks like. And we've been talking a lot about the physical aspect of it, the workout and going to the gym and all of that. But what role does, for example, the mental health and the nutrition play in achieving the fitness goals?
I think they both help each other. It's kind of hand in hand, because when you are moving, your body feels good. Our bodies are made to move. So even if it's not, and we've been talking about going to the gym, but it could be getting steps in at work. It could be walking around. It could be taking the stairs. It could be parking out a further away so that you have to walk. Ensuring that your body is moving and you're pumping blood through your body. That helps build dopamine, and then you're just going to feel good. And the more you move, the better you feel. It helps release stress. Especially for, January starting, you have to get back to work, and some people are very overwhelmed. So that's a really great way, instead of thinking about it as building your physical. Maybe for some people, the goal can be better mental health and feeling less stressed and clearer and more mindful. And then nutrition, oh my God, that's the part that's hardest for most people. And a lot of it is starting small. So instead of getting up and just throwing everything out of your fridge January morning, start small. Add some things. Add things that you know are good for you. Add some fruits, add some vegetables, and then slowly decrease the things that you know you probably don't want to be having as much of. So if you're having 5 sodas, one every week, whatever it is, decrease it. Have 4, then have 3, instead of trying to just go cold turkey and cut everything out, because that's not going to be sustainable for most people.
Yeah, start small, and then the progress will come, the gains will come after that.
Right, and it's not going to be perfect. It is just taking those small, consistent steps one day at a time. If day one never works so well, start over day 2. That's what I said. The New Year is a beautiful opportunity for new starts. So just kind of take it easy on yourself and take it one day at a time.
Does writing down what you're doing help in the accountability regime for persons who are starting out their fitness journey?
I'm not sure if I'd say it helps with accountability. It's a beautiful thing to do, especially writing down your goals and keeping track of everything. I think for accountability, having a fitness partner, having a coach that's going to be able to kind of be outside of you and say, I see what you're doing, and this is what we need to do, or this is how I'm going to guide you. That's going to be very, very helpful for a lot of people, especially if you're new to fitness, or for our older population that, may not feel comfortable in a gym space, getting someone that can possibly come to your home and assist you in that way. But just, again, analyzing what your needs are, and find a way to keep, maybe during a fitness group, doing some, those fitness classes that they have, the classes at 6:45 every night. That's another way to keep yourself accountable. So finding something that you can join, or getting a coach, or having
a friend's group,
friend,
or a friend, right. A final one for you, Dan, before we let you go. Your top advice, if you could pick anything or a number of things for overcoming setbacks or a plateau in a fitness journey.
Overcoming setbacks. I feel like understanding that you're a human being, and it happens. Not to beat yourself up, not to punish yourself. Because sometimes it's okay, we eat the cake, now I'm going to go up on the treadmill for 60 minutes every day this week. Now you're creating that unhealthy balance in your mind that every time I eat this, I have to punish my body by doing this. Life is about balance, and just kind of giving yourself grace and time. We spent the whole of last year having whatever you wanted. You can't just expect your body to just do what you want to because you've decided to eat some lettuce today, right? It's just being kind to yourself and understanding that, you really want to be creating a lifestyle. And to do that, you have to give yourself grace and time.
Resetting your fitness goals for 2025. Dan said a lot this morning. Hope you were able to soak it all up. Founder and CEO of Bikini Girl Fitness, Dan Brown. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Dan.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Take care. That has been it for Fit Nation.
You wanna hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work. You want a Lamborghini? Sip martinis, look hot in a bikini. You better work.
Fit Nation was brought to you by Express Fitness 24/7. Your goal is our mission.
Apply for your NHD refunds at nhd.gov.jm or via the NHD app. Do not click on any links offering to help you. The time by the NHD is
8:21.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
27 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 26 out west in Montego Bay, and still 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Pay nothing down on a shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payments until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payments until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai. Hyundai. For free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
Are you ready for it?
Revo. Coming soon.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, turning our attention now to the JDF hosting its exercise event Horizon 2025. Exercise event Horizon 2025 is a multinational, multi-agency, and multi-domain initiative scheduled to take place from January 12 to 26 in Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and offshore Haiti. This marks the third iteration of the exercise hosted by the Maritime Air and Cyber Command, MACC, of the Jamaica Defense Force in collaboration with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime Global Maritime Program. The primary objective is to enhance multilateral cooperation among participating nations by testing and validating the capabilities and readiness of the MACC, other military and security organizations, as well as international, regional, and local governmental and non-governmental agencies. For more on the exercise, we're being joined by the Executive Officer, Maritime Air and Cyber Command, and Officer Conducting Exercise, Commander Alvin Gale. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you and your listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning, Commander Gale. If you could provide us with an overview, I did give my listeners a snippet, my viewers a snippet of the exercise, but if you could give us an overview of Exercise Event Horizon 2025 and talk to us about the primary goals of it.
All right, so the event Horizon itself is facilitated through our partnerships with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and the Dominican Air Force and also their Navy. Since 2021, there have been a series of Maritime Operations Center to Maritime Operations Center engagements. And when we got out to 2023, we thought it prudent to move those discussions into some real-life exercises. And in 2023, we conducted the very first execution of Exercise Event Horizon. That included maritime law enforcement scenarios with a very strong focus on counter-illicit trafficking, aeronautical and maritime search and rescue, and humanitarian assistance and disaster response. Every year since then, we have grown beyond those three countries. Last year, we would have had some 14 nations participating in the planning and about 9 countries in the execution. This year, we have grown, also 18 countries participating in the planning and some 14 countries participating in the execution of it. And as you have indicated in the initial precept, it's really to test and validate the Maritime Air and Cyber Command's capabilities, and also, and more importantly, to test and validate how we cooperate with our other defense and security institutions across the Caribbean, including both military and civil organizations which are involved in peace and security matters across the region.
So is it that throughout the period of the exercise that Jamaica and the other participating countries are exposed to what each country is doing in relation to their maritime, air, and cybersecurity capacities?
Well, so each country, in our planning process and how we designed the exercise is that while Jamaica is the leading agency,
yes,
or leading country, every country comes to our planning forums and then indicates what they would want to test and validate, given the general context of that regional cooperation. So every country is allowed, based on how we will plan out scenarios, to validate what their own testing mechanisms of their own capabilities. So we allow that cooperation during the exercise planning phase.
Okay. And then this year, the areas that were chosen, or the countries that were chosen, Cayman Islands and offshore Haiti, of course, as well Jamaica. Any particular reason for these locations for this iteration of the exercise?
So Jamaica, we're tracking, is the CDMA focal point for the regional response mechanism as it concerns disaster, the northwestern region. We have always had in our exercise a very robust HADR, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief track, as we call it, in our exercise. The Cayman Islands is one of those 5 countries in the northwestern region. And what we want to do, along with the ODPEM here in Jamaica and the other civil agencies in these 5 countries, being the Bahamas, Haiti, Cayman Islands, and Belize, is to, without being forced to do it by an actual event, practice ourselves in terms of the interconnectedness and the cooperation that will bring about a real-life response. So this year we chose the Cayman Islands, primarily because we have not been there yet with this kind of a response. So the Bahamians are coming into country. We'll have some assistance in the Bahamas, in the Cayman Islands rather, from the DR, and Jamaica will be sending our representatives from the ODPEM, the Jamaica Defense Force Fire Brigade, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The other areas that we have touched in the offshore region, so we're doing activities offshore Haiti, activities in the joint regime area between ourselves and Colombia, which will involve activities with the Costa Rican Air Force or Air Surveillance Force. We do have a joint regime area south of Jamaica that is jointly managed between ourselves and the Colombians. So we're exercising across our very broad maritime claim connected operations or coordinated operations with other forces that we will have to and have had to in real life work with for actual scenarios. So the intent is,
yes, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. The intent?
So the intent is to actually be able to test these mechanisms, test some of the MOUs we have in place, and then on the back end of this, when we validate the program, to refine the agreements and then seek to fill the gaps which we have been noted to exist.
A final one before we let you go, Commander. You mentioned that, of course, this is not the first exercise. If you could give some examples of the successes from the previous collaborations.
Right, so last year, we would have gone through and done, last year was our largest exercise in 2024. We had just about 290 sailors, airmen, engineers, and special operators participating actively in the engagement. And there's about 9 aircraft and about 7 ships and about 20 plus shipwrights from varying countries. What I will indicate as a fruitful outcome of these engagements are that ongoing discussions have been taking place between the nations who are participating to concretize on MOUs, bilateral MOUs, trilateral MOUs. I'll give an example, and we might recall in 2023, the Chief of Defense Staff would have gone into the DR and had signed with the Dominican Republic Armed Forces 2 MOUs, one concerning search and rescue, another one concerning the matter of operational cooperation between our forces. This has been facilitated through our joint exercises. Other countries within the mix are actually pressing ahead with gathering MOUs between themselves. We have also been able to, with the local agencies, refine MOUs out of this process or refine standing operating procedures, having realized gaps in these documents coming out of this exercise. So on the back end of it, when we do this every 2 years going forward, the intent is to functionally fix documents we've had. This year in particular, we'll exercise the mass casualty rescue plan.
Yeah.
And as we do that, an assessment will be made by the validation team to influence what goes into the editing of the national document. So these are some of the benefits that the country will see in the near term.
Commander Alvin Gale, the Executive Officer of Maritime, Air and Cyber Command, and officer conducting exercise, talking to us this morning about the JDF and its hosting of exercise event Horizon 2025. Commander, thank you so much for your time this morning.
All right, Donna. Thanks much.
All right. And just before we go to the break, I did see some of my listeners in the YouTube chat saying they thought this was an event they could attend. It's a different event that the JDF is hosting. So the one that you can attend, which is coming up on Monday, January 13, is at the Victoria Pier in Kingston, called the Sail and Fly Past. The Jamaica Defence Force inviting members of the public to its Sail and Fly Past on Monday, January 13 at 9 a.m. at Victoria Pier in Kingston. Going to take a break and come back with more.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage of your life. Savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Time by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
8:34.
Haughton's RX, the caring pharmacy, the Yes We Can pharmacy, the Yes It's in stock pharmacy, the house call delivery pharmacy, the RX Pack mobile app pharmacy, the RX Plus digital wallet pharmacy, the 20% reward pharmacy, the easy to remember number pharmacy, 876 RX0 RXRX, the easy access 24/7 pharmacy, Haughton's RX, the convenient pharmacy, #wellness, #simply delivered.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Well, the U.S. Embassy in Kingston welcomes proposal or is inviting proposals for the 2025 Global U.S. Ambassadors Fund for Cultural Preservation, or AFCP. It's a grants program. This opportunity, which is funded by the U.S. Department of State, provides grants for the conservation of a wide range of cultural heritage, including historic buildings, ethnographic objects, indigenous languages, and other forms of traditional cultural expression. The AFCP, it's a global competition open to more than 130 countries, and Jamaicans have been among the winners over time. For more on the program and how persons can apply, we're joined by a public affairs attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, Mike Lavalley. Mike Lavalley. I hope I got Mike's name right. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, George. You got it right, and thank you for having me on this morning.
Excellent, sir. Good to have you. I wish you all the best, you and your team, for this new year.
No, same to you. It's great working here in Jamaica, and I really, really love the Jamaican people, so it's great to be here for another year.
Excellent. All right. This AFCP grants program, tell my listeners a little bit about it.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on to talk about this important program. The U.S. Ambassadors Fund for Cultural Preservation, or AFCP as you've been calling it, is a premier cultural grants program run by the U.S. Department of State. The program gives grants through U.S. embassies in partner countries, basically to develop and foster cultural preservation around the world. These grants help preserve cultural sites, objects, collections, and traditional forms of expression like music and language. As you noted, this is a global competition. It's open to more than 130 countries. But Jamaica has seen its share of success in this competition. Most recently, our recent winners, just last year, 2024, the National Museum of Jamaica had a winning proposal, and then the Michael Anafka Museum, the India, Africa, Caribbean Museum, had a winning proposal in 2019. So it's really possible. The funds are significant with this program. They range from grants from $25,000 up to $500,000 US dollars, or Jamaican dollars, nearly $4 million up to 80 million Jamaican dollars. The proposals run from 12 to 60 months in terms of to carry out the project and the completion of the project, and we of course would work with the Jamaican entity both in the proposal stage as well as the implementation stage if they're a successful winner.
Wow, from 20,000 up to what it is?
25,000 up to 500,000
US dollars. That's tremendous. So who is it that individuals and organizations are eligible, or just individuals only?
No, actually, individuals are not eligible to apply. Who is eligible to apply are institutions of higher education, colleges, universities, Jamaican-based non-governmental organizations, NGOs, foreign public entities, public international organizations, and government institutions. Of course, museums, as I have mentioned in the past, they have been very successful at placing competing bids and such. So it is not based towards individuals because this is the type of grant where it requires a lot of work with the government, a lot of work with institutions within the community, and we have found that to be able to successfully complete the projects and the grants, that it requires a complete organization. And I also should add that these organizations, and I think most of them in Jamaica here are, they have to be registered with the U.S. government to receive grant funding as well.
Yeah. So tell me then, Mike, is it then that based on the criteria for eligibility to apply, that an entity can be formed for the purpose of the program, or it would have had a footprint and works to examine and a record to examine before application?
It's possible possible to form an entity to submit a proposal, but of course that takes some time.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I am happy to announce today is that we had a deadline for initial concept proposals of January 10th. We are extending that to January 15th. So anybody who is pressing or trying to get a proposal in, you do have a little bit of extra time. That deadline is now January 15th.
Yeah.
But it does take some time to get these organizations formed, to register through our website, sam.gov, for a identifier number that is required to apply for these grants. So if you are thinking about this, you might be better off. This is an annual grant, and you're thinking about forming an organization, you might be better off like getting that organization formed and then applying next year. This year, I think it's a little bit too late to start forming that organization, but it is possible to do that. Just requires some time and some dedication.
Yeah, and importantly, Mike says the deadline of January 10 has been pushed back a little bit to January 15, so you have about 7 more days from here to get yourself in order and to submit that application. And what's the portal to submit the application through again, Mike?
The portal to submit the application is kingstongrants@state.gov. It's an email address, and you can go in and just send your proposal through that email. And importantly, let me talk a little bit about what's required. There's 2 rounds to this competition.
Yes.
First round is fairly easy. I say easy, but I know it can get complicated, of course. But it's a concept note, so it's a limit of 2 pages.
Yes.
So we're just looking for something brief, 2 pages, and it should talk about the project basics, include the implementator's name, a working title of the project, anticipated length of the project in terms of how many months you think it will take to complete it. Again, it's between 12 and 60 months. And where the project will happen, the project location, a project cost estimate, and then also include a project summary description. Provide about a 3,000 character, 3,000 character narrative that outlines the project activities, what it will deliver, the intended results. And then the last requirement for this first round is a visual or audio-visual documentation. So it has to include no more than 5 high-quality digital images or audio-visual files that will help explain what the project is and, help us visualize it a bit more as we work through making the determination on which will go forward. This is, as I said, a global competition, so there will be the embassies from all over the world will be sending them in, but each embassy, including Embassy Kingston, gets to submit 3 proposals that we will say. We will look at all the proposals that come in, and then we will break that down to the 3 that we think will be best fit this grant and have the chance to move forward. If they do move forward, round 2 of this would be in April, and we would probably find out sometime in March if we have a successful winner. And then we would start working with them on a more detailed proposal that we would submit in April. And then the final, we would find out sometime early summer with the project beginning September of this year.
Wow. So it's a lot of information to take on for those who would want to make use of this opportunity. So you've given me the email address for the application, the concept note to be submitted to. But in terms of general information, for some people who would have been told by someone that Mike was on Nationwide on Wednesday morning and he said this and he said that, but they want to get the refined information for themselves. Where can they go to get the complete list of criteria for the competition, the various phases, and what facilitation the folks in Kingston can give to them as they set their plans in motion?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking that. It is a lot of information. And as I said, the first part is just the 2-page concept note. That's all you've got to worry about right now. But you can find all of these details on our website. It's jm.usembassy.gov. jm.usembassy.gov. It's at the top of our page. It's the first thing that you'll see when you look on the page. The Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation grant opportunity, and within that You can click on links, and there's all the information that provides proposals and it gives you all the questions and answers that you need. It gives you sample proposals that you can use to help build your concept note. There's a ton of information on there, and so if you are thinking about it or in the process of putting this together, I would really encourage people to go to the website to refine their proposals and send us something that we would really like to push forward and consider.
Excellent. And for those of you who are thinking of it seriously, don't be daunted. The U.S. Embassy folks in Kingston are here to hold your hand and to guide you to ensure that you put your best foot forward. And then, of course, it's a global competition, so you'll get what you deserve, but you want to be in the best shape possible going forward, and they'll say they'll assist. Mike, I want to thank you this morning for speaking here, and look forward to more conversations about more work that the U.S. Embassy in Kingston is doing.
Yeah, no, great talking with you as well. And if there are any questions, they can also send it to that same email, kingstongrants@state.gov. That's where you submit the proposals. But any questions you have, you can also pose them to that email address, and we'll get back to you right away. But thank you so much for having me on this morning, George. It's great to be able to talk about this great opportunity to try to save, very importantly, the cultural heritage here in Jamaica that so many people treasure and respect all around the world.
Excellent, sir. All the best to you.
Thank you, George. Take care.
Good. Public Affairs Attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, Mike LaValle, talking about the Ambassadors Fund for Cultural Preservation Grants Program. It is a fantastic program for those who are in the business of preserving cultural heritage, talking about historic buildings, ethnographic objects, indigenous languages, and other forms of traditional cultural expression. I can see people who are linked to the Maroon community thinking seriously about getting this thing done. If they haven't done so already, they have until January 15. And if you go to the U.S. Embassy in Kingston's website, you'll see all the information attendant to the program, and you can get yourself together to benefit from grant funding to the tune from $25,000 US to $500,000 US. That's the range, of possibilities, and 12 to 16 months to execute, to implement. And the U.S. Embassy in Kingston says they won't leave you alone. They'll assist you in the development of the idea, the refinement of it, and of course in the implementation. It's a great thing. Thanks very much to the folks at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston. Break time after these birthdays.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:49.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
Ain't there something I can give you in exchange for everything you give to me? Read my mind, you make me feel just fine. When I think my peace of mind is out of reach, the scales are sometimes unbalanced, and you bear the weight of all that has to be. I hope you see that you can lean on me, and together we can calm the stormy seas. When love's so strong and so unselfishly, and I tell you now that I made a vow, I'm giving you the best that I've got, baby. Yes, I tell you now that I made a vow, I'm giving you the best
that time of the morning when we tell some very special people happy birthday and happy anniversary. Happy birthday going out to our friends on Facebook. Rohan Hall, Sophia Forbes Hall, Sonia Morrison, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to Charmaine Turner, Kevy A. Lee, Cherie Shia, Renice, Rennie Boo Richards. It's Antoinette. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to someone who calls himself on Facebook, Chrissy Mad Cute. Happy birthday to you, Chrissy. Happy birthday as well to Ali and Marsha Murphy. Happy birthday, Marsha. Also celebrating a birthday today. This one says, bless up to a real general. Upon him earth strong. Andrew Wheatley, Member of Parliament. Happy birthday to you, VIB. The message ends by saying, big up yourself, General. So happy birthday to Member of Parliament, Andrew Wheatley.
Yeah. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. Yeah. One more year upon them. Yeah. Go on, one vibe. Give thanks for life. Next year we doing it again. Yeah. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend. Whoa. One more year upon them. More life to your car with day till the end. Real from me heart, no pretend. Big birthday, bash. If I ever on the ground, nigga, splash. Give thanks for your life, oh gosh. Watch it, they make me go dip in at the stash. Drink and smoke so we frost. Turn up the sound box. Girl, them a bubble to the max. Everything well, cool and relax. So we send out the location. They a pass spot. We a pop champagne non-stop, yeah. Happy birthday, yeah, my friend.
Happy birthday greetings also going out to Brianna Johnson, another VIB. Very important birthday here from your family and friends. So happy birthday to you, Brianna. Happy birthday greetings also going out to Deloy Fong Battaglia, aka Del. Having your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Del. And the message for you here is wishing you a fabulous and stress-free day and wishing for you many more birthdays. Greetings coming from your husband, Pierre, your daughter, Danielle, and your friend, Wayne Walker. So happy birthday to you, Del. Hope you have an amazing day. Hopping on over to the YouTube chat. Rupert Wilson sending happy silver birthday to my daughter, Shannon Wilson in Morant Bay. The message for you this morning, Shannon. I love you with all my heart. Continue to grow from strength to strength, blessings and prosperity throughout your many years ahead. So happy birthday to you, Shannon, from Rupert Wilson, your dad. And Jennifer Phillips sending happy birthday greetings. She says to my friend Erica Curry, happy birthday to you, Erica, from your friend Jennifer Phillips here on the YouTube chat. Who else is celebrating a birthday today? Aldith Ferguson says, good morning. Please send birthday greetings to, is this Deacon? Because it says Beacon. What do you mean, Deacon? Is this Lynn Betters, Sergeant of the Litchfield Baptist Church? Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Celebrated 100 years of life, or celebrating 100 years of life today. Wow. Happy birthday to you. And the greetings are coming from your church family and Aldith Ferguson here on YouTube. Who else is celebrating a birthday today? Let us know. I see Jennifer Phillips sending happy birthday greetings to Lamar Harris. Happy birthday to you, Lamar, from Jennifer Phillips here on YouTube. Happy birthday. Hope you have a really good day as well. I have a special birthday greeting this morning, of course. It's my mom's birthday.
What?
January 8th. Happy birthday to you, my amazing mom.
What?
Yeah, celebrating your birthday today. Hope you have a fantastic one. Hope it will be relaxed. Hope nobody calls and give you no trouble today. Yeah, and just know that all the goodies, all the goodies are coming. Yeah, all your goodies are packed away and they're coming. So
all of the things them.
So you can look out for that. You have been amazing all of these years. My absolute rock. You've always showed up for me through everything, and I'm so grateful to have you. I wouldn't change you for the world. Yeah, and if I have to be born 1,000 times over,
Yes.
I'd want to come out and look up and see your face.
What?
So happy birthday to you, Mommy. Hope you have an amazing day. And this one is for you. I know you love this song, so dedicating it to you this morning.
Give sight to the ones who've lost their way. There's a place for people like you. I've heard up there the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, there's a place up there for people like.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way, there's a place for people like you. I've heard up there the streets are made of gold.
Jermaine just said this is the song of 2024. Yeah, I agree. Beautiful. To all of you in the YouTube chat as well, sending my mom happy birthday greetings. Thank you all so much. I will definitely pass them on. Just checking again before we wrap the show if anybody else is celebrating a birthday today. Anybody else sharing birthday with my mom? Neville Whitaker sending happy birthday greetings to Nev Andre at Glenmuir High. 13 years old today. Happy birthday to you. The greetings coming from your dad. And that seems to be all the birthdays. So if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well.
The streets are made of gold.
And that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning, NTM. Thanks so much to our technical operator, the musical maestro, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McRae Smith, our super editor, Kimon Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes online. I'm Tona Thomas.
And I'm hungry.
Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
With the start of every new